companies that sell products in bulk usually have more complex and long-term sales agreements with their customers. In SAP Business One, if you go to the Sales module, there you can see Sales Blanket Agreements, which are used for agreements between a seller and a customer. A sales blanket agreement is typically made when a customer has committed to purchasing large quantities that are to be delivered in several smaller shipments over a certain period of time. A sales blanket agreement can be used, for example, if a customer places an order of 1,000 units of an item and he or she wants the items to be delivered in 250 units every week over the next month. You can show sales blanket agreements from SAP Business One in your SAP web store to your B2B customers and sales agents. A customer can log into the web store, go to the My Account page, and see all sales blanket agreements available to him or her and create an order based on the agreements that the customer has with the merchant. The sales blanket agreements from SAP Business One are shown to B2B customers and sales agents on the My Sales Agreements page. To show sales blanket agreements to your B2B customers, in SAP Admin go to Setup, Ordering and Checkout. On the Ordering tab, you must enable the option Sales Agreements. You can enable it and disable for B2B customers and sales agents. On the Sales Agreements page, the customer can see all available sales agreements that he or she has with the merchant. The customer can search for the sales agreement by its ID, see only active sales agreements, or those that are closed to, meaning that they have been already completely fulfilled by the customer. The customer can see all the details of each sales agreement. There, the customer can see the sales agreement terms. These are the lines of the sales agreement where the customer can see the products that are in the agreement and their quantity commitment, product prices and discounts that the customer will get based on the agreements with the merchant. And also remaining quantity, shipped, invoiced and released. All this information is taken from the sales blanket agreement in SAP Business One. The customer can apply the sales agreement and add the necessary products of the required quantity from the sales agreement to the shopping cart. In the shopping cart, the customer can see the sales agreement that has been applied and the agreement term for each sales line. The customer can remove, change and view the details of the applied sales agreement directly in the shopping cart and change the agreement term for the sales line if there are different agreement terms for the same product. When a customer creates the order based on the sales agreement, SAP triggers all the terms and conditions of the sales blanket agreement in SAP Business One. The prices that are set in the sales blanket agreement in SAP Business One have higher priority and thus override other prices and discounts. When the customer applies the sales agreement, then the available agreement terms will be also shown on the product details page of the product from the sales agreement. In this case, the customer can also select the necessary agreement term on the product details page and add the required quantity to the shopping cart. But the agreement term is shown on the product details page only when the customer applies the sales agreement. Customers can also combine the products from the sales agreements with those that do not relate to any agreement in one sales order. Now let's take a look briefly at the sales blended agreement in SAP Business One. At first, let's go to Administration, System Initialization, General Settings. On the BP tab, you can see the option Allow multiple blended agreements for same period. By default, it is possible to create only one sales blended agreement for a business partner that is valid within the same period. If you want to create multiple agreements for a business partner that will be valid within the same period in SAP Business One, enable this option. And now I will go to the sales module. Here you can create sales blended agreements for your customers. When you create a sales blended agreement, it is necessary to select a business partner with whom you have sales agreements. When you select the business partner, SAP Business One will retrieve information about this business partner from the master data. In the General area, in the Agreement Method field, select Items method. SANA does not support the monitoring method. Enter the start date and end date. These dates determine the period when the agreement is valid. In the description field, enter the title of the agreement. It will be shown in the SANA Web Store. If you leave this field empty, only the sales blended agreement number will be shown. On the General tab in the Agreements Type field, select Specific. Specific blended agreements are used to track fulfillment of terms to obtain a special discount for the individual sales transaction. They are also used to determine a delivery schedule, for example by defining at which intervals which quantity of goods should be delivered. In the Status field, select Approved. A customer can place an order based on the sales blended agreement only when it is approved. On the Details tab, create separate lines for each sales agreement you have with your customer. If you double-click on the item line, you can specify the details of a delivery plan for the item. For example, the intervals at which the item should be delivered and the period when the agreement is valid for the item. You can fill in all other fields of the sales blended agreement the way you need, for example, payment and shipping information. When the customer creates the order based on the sales agreement, the sales agreement and the agreement terms that have been applied to the order will be also shown in the order details. In SAP Business One, there is the link between the sales order and the sales blended agreement from which it was created. Here, for each sales order line, you can see the blended agreement number. You can also see the blended agreement from which the order was created in the relationship map of the sales order. When you copy the sales order created from the sales blended agreement to the delivery and invoice documents in SAP Business One, the quantity delivered and invoiced will be updated, so customers can always see the up-to-date information about the sales agreement in the Web Store. More detailed information about sales agreements you can read on the SANA help site.